Hey guys, so I'm about to take out these awesome Spider-Man inspired red and blue multi-fidgets out of my Flashforge Creator 5 Pro. So one thing I really like about the Flashforge is the color possibilities that the Bambu Lab X1 Carbon doesn't always offer. So let's see how they turned out. I have, as I said, these Spider-Man inspired printed multi-fidget. And for kids, especially ADHD, even adults, they're a great tool to help self-regulation and or just give that little bit of distraction that maybe they need to keep that dopamine going. I mean, they're a bit difficult, let's say, to go, but once you get them going, as you can see, it's quite easy. Okay, here we have the little slider. That one obviously spins around, takes a bit of a moment, but you'll get there, it doesn't matter. And then these little twisty knobs here. And this one is cool. If you push it a little bit, we're just going to get it moving, it sort of spins around like so. Sorry, wrong way around. It spins around, and then give this one a bit of a push. Sorry. And that one ends up spinning around, and it goes both ways. How cool is that? I tried to print a bigger one earlier, and one thing I will say, you know, these little ones seem to be easier to print, but they seem to be a bit stiffer, but a great product overall. The larger one I printed on the Bambu X1 Carbon, and I think it was the Anycubic, and it didn't turn out too well. I literally waited about 8 hours, and from there was literally one little defect, one button, maybe two, and they didn't turn out perfect. So as you can imagine, I was quite disappointed with the hefty time frame that I did have to wait. So as you can probably see behind me, there is my Bambu Lab X1 Carbon. So I'm going to open up the Bambu Studio app and the Flash Studio app, and let's see how we go. So I'm going to go on to Bambu Studio, and I will show you the screen in a moment. One thing I have found is Maker World on Bambu Studio does have a lot more selection than the Flashforge. The Flashforge app has very minimal options available to you in terms of fidgets. You type in the same search term in the search bar and it comes up with nothing, or it comes up with a whole bunch of random stuff. But with Maker World, you're actually able to export the files and then just transfer them over, so you're still able to print the awesome prints that you would just like on the X1 Carbon, sorry. So if you just give me a moment, I'll show you my screen. So as you guys can see here, I have opened the Bambu Studios Maker World app, and we are just going to scroll through a little bit and find something simple. I really like the axolotls or some little sort of fidgets like that. So maybe we'll just type that in the search bar and we'll look for that instead. Let's type in axolotl. Okay. And here, as you can see, there's so many beautiful colors and lots of different selections that, like I mentioned earlier, the Flashforge does not have available to you within its app itself. So I'm going to go up to the top again, and here we're going to go to downloads. That way we're able to make the selection and see which ones are the most printed. So I want to find a cute little one. So if we go, let's say this one here, as you can see, has got a maker's supply. They're done by Flashforge Lab and have 18,200 downloads and 49,000 likes. So that seems like a good choice. So here we go. So this one here is multicolor AMS printed classic eyes. So with that, it's just going to be, as you can see here, the standard black and white eyes. With this one, it says that it has a bit more of a sparkling eye. So let's open that. I really don't notice the difference, but that's okay. So there we go. Nope, this isn't working. Maybe, okay. here we go. So let's click back on to downloads. There we go. We're going to go here. It's not that much of a difference. I mean, for such a small print, 2 hours is still quite a long time. But anyway, so we're going to go just with the classic eyes, I guess. As you can see, that's got the most reviews. So we're going to go download. Sorry, I had Bart Simpson open earlier. And let's wait for the STL to load on the plate. Wow, that's a lot bigger than we thought. Okay, so here we go. We're going to switch now. That's obviously not the one I want. As you can see there, it's the A2L. That's not what I want. So here we are. We're going to go over to device there and click on this one. Okay, there is no printing in progress. So that's obviously a failure on there. I do not actually have, as you can see, too many filaments loaded into that one because it keeps spaghetti, and I just got sick and tired of replacing them for the moment being, considering I have the other printers, and I just thought, hey, I'll load those ones up instead. So let's go back to prepare. As you can see, it's that color. You go over here. We're currently going to put it on the device page. No, it is not. So we're going to go to the device page. As you can see, I've already selected that. So we are going to go back. I want to go here, Bambu Lab X1 Carbon. Then we can sync the information. Continue to sync filaments. As you can see, it is saying there, synchronize now. Pretty straightforward, isn't it? Okay, so there, it's only got 3 because I only have 3 loaded in. I just ran out of the first one the other day. So from there, we are going to either click on the object, or we're just going to go ahead. Let's slice it and just see if we need any supports. Most likely we will, but fingers crossed we don't, because hey, sometimes, as you can see, look, there we go. Floating cantilever. Please reorient. Okay, we can click there, and it's obviously still not going away, but we can just go here, click auto orient. You see that at the top just there? Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, that doesn't matter about that. Now there you go, it's auto oriented. Okay, here we go. Let's slice this again and see if we are fine. I have found though with the Bambu Lab X1 Carbon that a lot of the time you don't actually need support. I mean, with that said, look at that, it doesn't look like it has too many floating objects, but I find that the supports on the plate especially, they are really hard to not ruin the print in itself. With the Carbon X1, it is a lot easier to remove the supports from the platform, but at the same time, it's not always the easiest thing to do. So here, as you can see, it's tree order, that's the type. I haven't learned quite why they have that, considering they told me to use supports. I always put tree slim, then I scroll down a little bit, just checking everything else. Okay, so here we have top, and I always change it to 0.25. Delete the bottom one and put it as 1/8. I mean, everyone has their own different style of doing things, but that is what I've learned that works best. You change the layers from 2 to 3. We are going to go here. That's just time lapse. No, we don't want fuzzy skin. That does not really matter. Okay, so go back to the supports. I think we have got everything sort of from here. If I haven't, any suggestions would be great. I'd prefer to support critical regions only, because then that leaves us with less to pull off. Because a lot of them that have lots of supports, they're really hard to remove, and it gets very tedious. I'll just grab something quickly and I will show you what I mean. Here I have a Bart Simpson head, no eyes of course, and if you look under here, I was left pretty disappointed considering, and that is all from removing the supports. I mean, the head itself is quite good, but if you kind of look at it, it's in his mouth, it is kind of rough and it could cut someone easily, and it really hurts. So let's put Bart back down there. So now we have those supports in place. There was nothing to do in other. Okay, it's telling us to enable a prime tower. Here we go, we've done that. let's slice the plate and see if it works this time. Luckily it's not too slow. Here we go. So that is going to take us, with the supports on, 2 hours and 28 minutes. Prepare time 7 minutes 42. Filament change times 28. You should see some of the numbers. It is absolutely crazy. I printed something the other day. I can't quite recall what it was. It must have been a dragon, or I think it was one of these. These awesome double fidgets, and there we go. And literally the amount of filament changes was crazy. It was about 200 and something changes for the whole time, which I thought was absolutely absurd. But hey, I could be wrong. So now we are going to go ahead and we're going to go to print plate. That way we can choose. It's only giving us 2 options for some reason, but hey, that's okay. I want to choose A4. That one there is a bit of a metal-y sink. That one there has a bit of a metal-y silk color, and it seems to be having a lot of spaghetti issues, but hey, let's give it a go. Because the other colors are just blue and black. So I like to give it a bit of pizzazz. So here we go. Let's send that. As you can see, 36.52 grams. We're going to send that one now, and we'll send that to print. And in a moment, I am going to go onto the Flash Studio app. After exporting the STL from Bambu Labs, and then we're going to see the difference in how much time it will take, how many changes of filament it will need throughout the whole process. Okay, this is going a bit slow, but hey, we're getting there. So there you go. After that, that's 90%, that's 100%. Now we can go back to prepare, file. I found this way is easiest. I mean, there's only one object, so it doesn't matter. Here you see the selection. It says export all objects as one STL. So with that said though, I have found that, I'll just zoom in for you guys. With that said, if you export all objects as one STL and you have more than one item on the plate, it can be quite difficult to color, amongst other things. So even though you'll have to go into your downloads and multi-select all the other STLs that you do not need, I found that way is easier, and it will export all the objects separately as separate STLs. But that works best when you want to paint it, scale it, amongst other things, as it's not always the easiest. As you can see, it has a rectangle box around here. If there were many more and it was a square box, let's say, you would have the issue that all the objects would be within that square and you have to adjust them all at once. I have tried doing it separately and it didn't turn out too well. So we're just going to export all objects as one STL. Okay, where are we going to take that? We will put it in save to downloads. Okay, negative parts, no. I always click no on this. As you can see, it says negative parts. Would you like to perform mesh boolean before exporting? And I always click no, as it always says I can't do it anyway. And I think for that you need something like Blender or maybe Shaper 3D, amongst other different applications. So we've exported that, as you can see. Now we're going to head over to this app at the bottom. As you can see, what else is there? Called Flash Studio. So now we're on to Flash Studio, okay? And we are going to, if you just give me a moment, import that file. Just give me a second. So as you can see, I have exported it from the STL file that Bambu Lab Makerwork provided, and it is asking me immediately to simplify the model, as it has more than 1 million triangles and it could just slow the whole process down. So it says it's highly recommended to simplify the model. So I think we'll do that. I mean, I haven't really noticed what the difference is in terms of doing that and not doing that, I don't see too much in terms of the time difference, but hey, I could be wrong. I'm just a beginner with all this. So if you know, then maybe you could let me know in the comments below. So here we go, and it has automatically changed it into this color. It's pretty random because I don't even have that color loaded. As you can see just over here a little bit, I have those 4 colors: red, white, black and blue, and those are for the Spider-Man inspired fidgets that I just printed. Okay, so here we go. With that said, I am going to see if with this one we need some support, so actually maybe I will just go there. I will just enable them. With the Forge, with the Forge Creator 5 Pro, you do not have the same kind of options. There's not an extensive amount of options to choose from, but at the same time the prints come off the plate a lot better than they may with the Bambu Lab X1 Carbon. So here it's automatically selected like that. Go into multi-material, flush into object supports, or you can also flush into objects infill. Sorry about that. As you can hear, it's a little symphony in the back because it is warming itself up and it is auto leveling the bed. So here we go. I'm going to change it into there. There we go. Actually, maybe I haven't tried this setting, so we will put that there. And select that one, and let's see how we go. I don't actually know what any of this means, so I just tend to leave it. I haven't got that far in my learning process. So here we go, frequent, we have all those. So let's go, we will slice it. There we go. And as you can see, I'll move you over slightly. There we go. This one here says that it will take 1 hour and 42 minutes. So that is quite an extensive difference, as you can see. And it gives you all the details that you will need, the percentages in terms of filament changes, the top surface, the gap infill supports, just everything overall that is needed in terms of the filament. I don't know why it's not showing filament changes, but hey, let's click on this eye here. Okay, we want to see that, so if you're going to tell us, it doesn't look like it, does it? So let's go off there. So with this one, the total filament is 23.83. The model is 22.97. So that to me seems like it doesn't need as many changes. But if you see this one here, unless you actually go into it, you're going to have to go back to prepare. Then we are going to go over to paint here. I always click fill. I normally, for the most part, put it to level 8, especially considering it is going to be a smaller area. We are just needing to do, let's enlarge it a little bit. We're just going to need the white, and as you can see, look at all these little squares and triangles. So maybe for this one I might actually make it a bit bigger. Let's see if that helps. There we go. They look like little tiny golf balls. Okay, so now we're going to go here, and then we're going to go back, and we are going to go, we want a sphere, and we want the pen size to be there. Oh, maybe we want it a bit bigger. Okay, as I said, I haven't quite got these measurements figured out, but hey, that's okay. No, that is far too big. I am trying to do the pupil of the eye. No, that's still too big. We're getting there slowly. Okay, that looks kind of perfect there. There you go. We're just going to put a dot there. Let's turn him around a little bit. And hopefully that's a bit level. Otherwise, we're going to be looking a bit cross-eyed. There we go. We have a dot there. So with that said, now you have your eyes. And let's zoom back out in a moment of this little guy. Turn it around. Okay, as you can see, there you go. With this one, it does have a prime tower over here. You can actually turn off that option, but it's not always the best idea, especially when you are using a multicolor EMS for the print. So now we're going to go to slice plate, and fingers crossed that doesn't make too much of a difference. Okay, so the slice is complete. That is going to take 1 hour and 42 minutes. So I think it doesn't actually seem too much of a difference, but it's still not telling me the filament changes, but that is okay. That's irrelevant right now. Let's go to print by plate. Okay, I don't know why. What does it say? It's trying to tell me it's not connected, which it is. So here we go. We're going to go there. We're going to slice the plate again. And fingers crossed it's going to work for us this time. If it is not, so refresh. As you can see, it's a network issue here. I don't know why it is not working. Okay, so as you can see, pretty complicated. Prepare, let's go back to there. Maybe I should go to device list, and then we have that one. Okay, as you can see, those were the multi-fidgets. Clear. Here we go. So it is idle at the moment, so I'm really hoping it's going to work. For a beginner like myself, I don't really know how to work with these things. As you can see, look, it is working. So we're going to send that one, and 23.93 grams, which is a bit less. So that is a bit less than the Bambu Lab X1 Carbon, but we're going to see how they turn out, and you can be the judge of which one did it better. And let me know what kind of printer you use, what type of settings you find best for your prints to make them the best possible 3D print overall, with not so much rough and tough areas that you nearly slice your fingers or something like that, because it's quite easy to do. So that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching. Like, comment and or subscribe, and I'll see you all again very soon. Have a good day or evening, whatever it may be, wherever you are.